Level 1. Cadet. You are 16 years old. The dream started looking up at the sky over your mid-rim homeworld. You watched the wedge shapes of star destroyers eclipse the sun, and you didn't feel fear. You felt safe. You saw order. You saw an escape from the dust and the chaos of a broken galaxy. Royal Imperial Academy, Coruscant. 4 years. Your first day. The architecture is brutal, massive, designed to make you feel as small as you actually are. You stand in a courtyard of 1,000,000 identical gray uniforms. The instructor tells you that peace requires sacrifice. You think you understand what that means. You don't. You have no rank cylinders on your chest. You are nothing. Astrogation theory at 0500. Political ideology seminars where questioning the core doctrine gets you quietly reassigned to a labor camp. Tactical simulations where the only winning move is overwhelming, ruthless force. By your third year, a third of your class is gone. Some failed. Some just vanished in the middle of the night. You learn not to ask where they went. Graduation day. You stand in perfect formation. Your parents aren't allowed to attend. The Empire is your family now. They hand you your code cylinder. You report to the fleet. Level 2. Ensign. They post you to an Imperial-class star destroyer, a floating dagger of durasteel carrying 40,000 crew members. One blue square on your rank plaque. You thought you'd be on the bridge, commanding the stars. Instead, you are on deck 72, calibrating the targeting sensors for the turbo laser batteries. The heat in the lower decks is suffocating. You sleep in a rack stacked 3 high. You eat grain nutrient paste in a mess hall where everyone speaks in hushed tones because the Imperial Security Bureau has informants in every squad. You don't look out of windows because there are no windows down here. You are in the belly of a machine. Then the alarms scream. Rebel ambush over a nameless forest moon. The ship shudders. A power conduit blows in your sector. The blast doors seal automatically to contain the damage, trapping 3 technicians inside the burning compartment. You are standing at the override console. You look at them through the viewport. They are screaming, banging on the glass. The protocol strictly forbids overriding a containment seal during combat. You hesitate. Level 3. Lieutenant. You finally make it to the bridge, the command walkway, the pit. You stand in the sunken trench, staring at glowing monitors, while the senior officers pace above you on the polished black floor. You are a deck officer now. You process sensor data, you relay orders. You learn the golden rule of the Imperial Navy. Never speak unless spoken to, and never bring the captain a problem without a solution. Blame flows downward, always downward. You are running a blockade over a smuggler's outpost. A freighter tries to break the line. It's broadcasting a civilian distress signal. Refugee codes. Your sensor readout clearly shows life signs. Hundreds of them. Families. You look up at the captain. He looks down at you. You report the ship is attempting to flee. You do not mention the life signs. You say the words. Target locked. The green flash of the turbo lasers lights up the bridge. The freighter turns into a cloud of silent dust. You go back to your quarters that night, sit on your bunk, and stare at your hands. You tell yourself it was for the order of the galaxy. You repeat it until you almost believe it. Level 4. Commander. First officer. The executive officer. You are the one pacing on the polished black floor now. 3 red squares, 3 blue. You run the ship so the captain doesn't have to look at the ugly parts. You manage the duty rosters, the fuel consumption, the discipline. The discipline is the hardest part. The Empire runs on fear, and on this ship, you are the instrument of that fear. A young ensign makes a miscalculation during a hyperspace jump. It costs the fleet 2 hours. The captain tells you to make an example of him. You call the ensign to your office. You look into his eyes. He is exactly the same age you were when you watched those technicians burn behind the blast doors.
You demote him. You send him to the Infantry Penal Legions, a death sentence. He begs you. You keep your face entirely, perfectly still. You dismiss him. You don't sleep anymore. You drink caf at 0300, reading casualty reports. You realize you don't have friends on this ship. You have assets, and you have liabilities. You are entirely alone in a city of 40,000 people. Level 5. Captain. You did it. Your own Star Destroyer. 6 red squares glowing on your chest. The bridge is yours. The viewport is yours. The sheer godlike power of orbital bombardment is at your fingertips. You stand at the edge of the command walkway, looking out at the stars. It is exactly what you dreamed of as a 16-year-old kid. But the dream is poisoned. Because as a captain, you are visible. You are on the radar of High Command. And High Command is terrifying. You receive a priority transmission. A black shuttle docks in your main hangar. The temperature on the ship seems to drop by 10 degrees. Lord Vader walks onto your bridge. The breathing apparatus sounds louder than the ship's engines. He gives you an order, a planetary pacification. You look at the coordinates. It's an agricultural world. Minimal rebel presence. Millions of innocents. You want to say no. You feel the word forming in your throat. Then Vader turns his mask toward you. You feel an invisible pressure against your windpipe. Just a phantom touch. A reminder. You swallow the word. You say, "As the Emperor wills." You give the order. You watch the green beams rain down on the blue planet until the clouds turn to ash. You stand there for 3 hours. You don't blink, because if you blink, they will see you are weak, and the weak get replaced. Level 6. Admiral. They take you off the ship. They move you to a desk on Coruscant. You command fleets now, sector groups, an entire quadrant of space. You wear the plaque of an admiral, but your uniform is still the same bleak gray. Your office is massive, sterile, and silent. You don't see the stars anymore. You see holographic projections, blue dots and red dots floating in a glowing grid over your desk. You move a blue dot. 3 Star Destroyers jump into the midrim. You move another dot. 2,000 stormtroopers deploy to a jungle world. You never see the jungle. You never smell the ozone of the blasters. You just wait for the numbers to update on your datapad.
It speaks louder than the void.
When a rebel fleet ambushes your forces, you don't hear the screams. You just watch the blue dots blink out, one by one. You do the math in your head. 10,000 men. Gone. A slight rounding error in the Grand Imperial budget. A young captain comes into your office. He is shaking. He lost his ship in the ambush. He begs for a second chance. He tells you about his crew, his loyalty. You look at him. You feel absolutely nothing. The machinery of your soul has completely rusted over. You press a button on your desk. ISB agents walk in and drag him away for summary execution. You go back to your datapad before the door even closes. Level 7.
You walk into your private quarters. It is larger than the town you grew up in. You walk to the massive viewport, looking out over the endless city of Coruscant. Trillions of lights. You are the apex predator of the galaxy. You have survived the Academy, the trenches, the politics, the Sith. Every person who ever gave you an order is dead. You have everything. You pour yourself a glass of Corellian wine. You look at your reflection in the glass of the viewport. The white uniform glows in the dark room. You realize you haven't spoken to someone who wasn't terrified of you in 20 years.
You look down at your hands. They are clean, perfectly manicured. But in your mind, they are stained with the blood of the technicians you let burn, the refugees you shot down, the ensign you condemned, the planets you turned to glass. You wanted to bring order to the galaxy. You look at the reflection of the man in the white uniform. You realize you didn't bring order. You just brought the silence of the grave. And you are the one who has to sit in it. You finish your drink. You turn your back on the stars. You walk back to your desk. There are worlds that need pacifying tomorrow. You pick up your code cylinder. You get to work.